Alright, so welcome to the forward engine room. The forward engine room has two Fairbanks Morse engines. Here is the diagram for the Fairbanks Morse diesel engines. As you can see, you can look at the diagram. Another gentleman that we had in here previously, just earlier today, was very intrigued on how the pistons of the whole outlay of the Ford torpedo room actually, or the Ford engine room and the Fairbanks Morse engines actually worked. As we make our way around here, I'm going to start up one of the engines for you so you can actually hear one of the Fairbanks Morse engines. So please pay attention and listen. If you were wondering, that was just an audio recording of one of the engines. It would not sound like that if you had four engines running in both of these compartments. You would not be able to hear anybody talking, as well as the vapor suction from the engines itself. As you come across here, here are the two water distilleries that would actually purify the water from salt water to drinking water. And water was very much scarce on board a World War II submarine, and you were not allowed to use water for showers without permission. We had one crewman on another boat that did that, and he was put on desalinization duty. And that consisted of going in the after part of the submarine, opening a valve, flooding the tanks, and then he had to go forward to open the tanks. And when he did that, one of the crew members went below one of these grates, and there was a shower down there for the engine crews, and he ran the shower until the tanks went dry. So therefore, he was on desalinization duty for at least 3 or 4 days. And he never took a shower again without permission. As we make our way in here, watch your head. We're going to go through the after engine room compartment. And as you can see, we have Frank Lydell who's been working in here. And Frank is one of our mysterious engineman workers. He is wonderful at what he does on board the Silversides. So we're here again. We're in the aft engine rooms of the Silversides with the Silversides fish SS236 and the Fairbanks Morse engines. And as you can see, we got crews working in here to keep our lovely boat working in prime shape. So anyway, these Fairbanks Morse engines were manufactured in Chicago, Illinois. And as you move around here, you can also see one of the pistons from the engines. As you make your way, watch your head. We're going to be going through the maneuvering room. Watch your head as we go through. Again, this valve here would actually be controlled on both ends. Close both watertight doors, open this valve, and would help control flooding in the event of a situation. Alright. As we make our way through here, we're actually making our way through the maneuvering room. It's tight quartered, so watch your space, watch your step. And this is the electrical heart of the submarine. This is where all the electrics and everything took place on board the Silversides. This is where all the amps, the kilometers, and everything was located. They actually tell you the battery flow air meters and all of the engine compartments. And so this is the for its Ford battery, engine 1, engine 2, after battery, generator 3 and 4. It would tell them what they had in the generators, the batteries, all of that stuff. Now we're going to look at these 4 black boxes sitting here. The 4 black boxes, well, it has an interesting story. It's not connected to the Silversides, but one of our other submarines, USS Tang, was fighting on the surface when she launched her torpedo, and it did a circular run. The commanding officer, Dick O'Kane, Richard Hetherington O'Kane, ordered rifle rudder all ahead emergency, and he swung the Tang out of the way, but the submarine hit right where these black boxes were. It took out the after engine room, this compartment, and the forward compartments all the way up in the control room were flooded and were taking on water. Her stern was already on the bottom, her nose was sticking out of the water, and they could not close the bridge hatch, and she was already flooding through the conning tower. and they tried to close the conning tower to control room hatch, and that was badly damaged from the jimming of the explosion, and that was still leaking. So within 30 seconds, tank was underneath the water. So that's a history of that story. This is also another watertight door. If you see water in this glass area, then you know not to open up the door. Watch your depth, or watch your head as we move in towards the after torpedo room. This is the after torpedo room. Basically the same exact situation as in the forward torpedo room, except we have a couple slight differences in the forward and the stern torpedo room. We only had 4 torpedoes in the stern section, and we only had 4 in reserve. 4 were war shot loaded, and you also had the emergency steering gear in the back. And so they could also sit there and control steer the Silversides from the aft end of the submarine. The stern torpedo tubes were longer so you could get past the props. Basically everything else is exactly the same. This is a water injector, signal injector to create bubbles to give them a false ping to try to elude the destroyers. These racks would pull out and make evenly with the torpedo tubes. The guys would grease the torpedo tube, put it into the torpedo tube, and above here is the muzzle door indicator. They could swing that open and open up the muzzle doors and open the outer doors, which are now closed. So anyway, this is the crew berthing. This is one of our electric torpedoes, one of more advanced torpedoes of the war, and I call her a cutie because I just think she's a cutie. So anyway, this is another area where the guys were able to keep their stuff. Also a hatch here that would allow them to enter and exit the submarine as well. This ladder would not have been here during the war, and that's where the the stern torpedo tubes were loaded from that hatch below you there. So again, this is where the crew slept. 4 torpedo tubes were loaded and 4 in reserve. Thank you again for joining the wonderful tour of the Silversides. My name is Ryan, and I'm one of the official tour guides on board the USS Silversides and at the USS Silversides Submarine Museum. Please come down and get an official tour. She's a wonderful boat to visit and see, and just watching a video does not do it justice. So please come down and see the museum and get an actual tour from one of our tour guides or me. We would love to have you and would love to see you. And we're also on Facebook as well. So again, and with many things going on throughout the year, this is a wonderful, wonderful museum and wonderful things to see and do. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed the tour, and we hope to see you again in person. And later in the month of May, we will be having our Lost Boat ceremony, and we hope you'll join us for that wonderful event with a former lieutenant commander in the Navy. He went into space, and we'll also be having a flyover and all different events. So please again, call and join the museum. We would love to have you. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.